Maharaj Swami Avatarpuriji with us, visiting us in New Zealand. He's been in Auckland for a few days. He's now with us in Wellington and Kapiti through until next weekend. So there's a program which I'm sure most of you have had a chance to see. And we're more than happy to give you information about it if you haven't seen what else will be on this week. Maharaji is the successor to Vishwaguru Paramhans Sri Swami Maheshwarananda. He is the current embodiment of the Vishwapith Parampara, spiritual lineage that goes back to ancient times and rishis in the Himalayas. It's through Swami Maheshwarananda, Vishwaguruji. He founded the Yoga and Daily Life system to bring both the asanas and yogic techniques to the best, but also that's as a means to share the wisdom, to encourage people to have comfortable bodies so they can have settled minds and can imbibe of the wisdom and teachings through some of the deeper practices of yoga that are associated with yoga, rather than just the purely physical. And Maharaji here is carrying on that tradition with grace. Thank you for being with us.
Nagin Bhai is not here, so today you can occupy the chair. Feels comfy, doesn't it?
This will not give much idea. It's cracking all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Now he looks like the boss. He is. Is the receiver on in the back? Nicola, is the receiver on? Yeah. No, the receiver for the mic on the back.
In front.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another one?
Huh? No, it's here.
Yeah, it's on.
Are we ready over there?
Yeah, it's live. It's going.
Usually in Europe they do this to let me know that
Yeah.
it's on. Yeah, thank you.
We just learn this here.
Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mannatha Shri Jagannatha Madguru Shri Jagadguru Mamatma Sarva Bhutatma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Salutations to the Cosmic Self. Salutations to Srila Purji Siddhapit Parampara. My Dandavat Pranams to our beloved Gurudev, His Holiness Vishwaguru Mahamandaleshwar Maheshwaranand Puriji. Good morning to all of you who are present here, and good afternoon and evening to those of you who are watching through webcast. Hope you all had a wonderful night, a good sleep, and we have a beautiful sunny day today. So let's enjoy the beautiful morning. You already started your morning with the beautiful practices of asanas and pranayam. Today it's a quite full-on day, as I saw after arriving here. That's what I do, going with the flow. They told me that they sent me the plan earlier, but me being me, didn't really look into it. And then last night I was like, oh, okay, we have a full day tomorrow. I was like, no worries. So happy to be here, happy to see some new faces who were not here yesterday. Welcome. I think today is one of my favorite topics. The bond between the guru and the disciple. That's the morning topic, I believe, right? So the bond of a guru and disciple is one bond which is permanent, which can't be broken. Other bonds, other relationships, many bonds, many relationships happen without a choice. You're born.
Makes noise. Do you need this or is you hot? Okay.
Even in winters I feel hot, so what to do. But if you want, you can turn it off, it's fine.
No.
Some bonds, some relationships are made without any choices. Like when you're born, your parents and your relationship, that's without a choice. Siblings, without a choice. There are many bonds, but one bond is which is done with full awareness and consciousness. That is when you choose a master. Because that bond is, in this Kali Yuga, as for context for those of you who do not know, there are 4 yugas. First is Satya Yuga. It was known Satya because that time everyone were telling the truth, living by the truth, moving in the world with truth and compassion. Then came Treta Yuga, where Lord Rama was incarnated. Then came Dwapar Yuga, where Lord Krishna was incarnated. And now is Kali Yuga. So in Kali Yuga, as we go further and further, to find real true gurus is very rare. Nowadays, many just come up one day and say, we are guru. Some are many self-proclaimed gurus. So it's very hard and rare to find a true Sri Sadgurudev in this modern times. That's why I always say that we are very blessed to be a part of a parampara. In the same way as in family, you have a family tree, you have your great-grandparents, then your grandparents, then your parents, then yourself, then your kids, then your grandkids. In the same way, in the tradition of sannyasis or monks, we have parampara, which means a lineage. And our lineage is pretty old. If you heard, how many of you visited India already? Okay. Heard the name of the river Alaknanda? That's where it starts up in the Himalayas. So our parampara starts from there because our first guru, his name was Sri Avatarpuriji Maharaj. The photo which is in front of the light down. So he's Sri Avatarpuriji, and he used to do his sadhana, his meditations up in the Himalayas, in the cave. And one day he had a disciple named Nanda Devi, and she wanted to be remembered, and she wanted her name to be attached with his name. So then the river's name became Alaknanda. Avatarpuriji and Nanda Devi became Alaknanda. So our lineage is from that time. After him came Sri Devpuriji Maharaj, the first photo there, to the left. He also did a lot of penance and sadhana up in the Himalayas, and then he came and established his ashram in a place called Sikar in Rajasthan. If you read the Lila Amrit, you will know many miracles, what he did. We still know people there who are alive, their kids or grandkids, who tell that stories, that he brought back people from dead. After they passed away, they brought them back. Many miracles he did. He was walking on water and many other things. After that came Bhagwan Shrideep Narayan Mahaprabhuji, the second picture. His ashram is in Badi Khatu, Nagaur, Rajasthan. And he also was mostly there traveling around and guiding people. It's said, Yatha Kale Tatha Paristhiti, or Kal or Desh, which means as the generation or as we move forward in our lives, according to the time and space, we go forward. I get many comments also nowadays that, oh, why do you fly? You're a monk, you should not fly, or you should not drive in cars. I was like, yeah. If I walk from India to New Zealand, it will take me walking and swimming, so yeah. I mean, walking from Rajasthan first to the shore and then swimming, so not really possible. And to spread the message, I can't just sit in the cave and meditate there and do nothing. So as the time moves forward, you move forward with life. So Paraman Swami Madhavanand-Puriji, who was our Dada Guruji or our great master, he started traveling more and spreading the message of Sanatana Dharma, of Mahaprabhuji around the whole India. And his ashram is in Nippal, which is 1.5 hours from our main ashram, the Om ashram, which you might have seen somewhere. This is the cave in the Himalayas from Avatarpuriji. Then this is the cave of Sri Devpuriji. And then Mahaprabhuji came down and spread the message. And after Holy Guruji, we have our dear Vishwaguruji, who graciously traveled around the whole world for the past 55-60 years, spreading the message of Mahaprabhuji, his teachings, created this beautiful family of mine, yoga and daily life, created this beautiful, magnificent space for us to come whenever we like here, or the Om ashram in India, and many other ashrams around the world. So that was all the work of our beloved Gurudev. The great saints and the great yogis and rishis like Gurudev and others, they all are enlightened souls who were happy up there. But they still decided to come back to this Mrityu Loka, or the place of Maya where we are entangled in this illusion. He still decided to come back here. Why? For all of us. To guide us, to help us, and to enlighten us, and hopefully help us attain self-realization and moksha. Believe me, they were much happier up there. They did not need to come back, but they did. So that's why we are very blessed to be a part of this parampara. And as I was saying, this bond is a bond which cannot be broken. Doesn't matter what happens, you leave him, you go. After 10 years, you decide you want to come back, his arms will be still open and saying, come here, my dear, no worries. That is why the Guru means, the word Guru means, Gu means from darkness, Ru means to light. It can be the inner darkness, it can be the darkness which we are surrounded with. It looks pretty bright, but until we do not have that inner peace, that inner joy, that realization of who we are, until then it's still dark for us. And who helps us? We think that, oh, why do we need a guru? We are self-sufficient to know everything. We can read the books and learn things. Why do we need this? Or it feels like we are following someone blindly. It's blind faith. It's not blind faith, it is faith. You need faith and believe into something, but it's not blind. Because if you decide to walk onto this path, it's your own decision. So it's not blind faith. And the reason why we need it, because how did we learn how to talk or say our first words after we grew up a few months, few years? From our parents, right? Our parents started to talk. We heard words from here and there. Some words might have been taught to us by our parents. Oh, say mama, say papa, say this, say that. So in that way, they also become our first gurus, because they teach us something. So the parents are the first gurus. So if we didn't need a guru, then we didn't need that either. So the parents become our first gurus who teach us the initial stages of our lives. Then we go to schools and colleges to study, to learn. They're our teachers. They become our second guru, because they teach us all the worldly knowledges which we need. At least for you all, because I believe that in my field of work, maths and history and physics didn't make much of sense, but still had to go through it. Why not? And then we need a Gurudev who opens other paths of life, who opens the spiritual aspects, who shows us and guides us that path. That's why in our culture we had 4 ashrams. First is Brahmacharya ashram. Brahmacharya ashram is, if we divide it into 4 parts, let's say a person lives 100 years, so 0 to 25 would be Brahmacharya ashram. Brahmacharya ashram means where you come. In the older times we had Gurukul systems, now we have schools and hostels. So people come, children come, study. Why was Gurukul systems implemented was, I'll share it in a bit later. So 4 ashrams. First is 0 to 25, Brahmacharya ashram, where you come, you study, you gain knowledge, you learn things, After that comes Grastashram from 25 till 50. That's where you have your household, you focus on your work, you build up your life, you have your own businesses, your work, you have or not have kids, you with your partner you have a partner. So you move on in your personal life. That's 25 to 50. After comes Vanaprasthashram. After your kids are grown up enough, they have that energy, you give them and you let them take forward what you created, or they can create something of their own. And you slowly move towards spirituality, towards the path which helps us attain our goal of self-realization. Both of you, partner, yourself, alone, as you want. But you slowly detach yourself from the worldly things, not completely, but gradually. And from 75 till whenever you die comes sannyas ashram, where you renounce everything, you stay and completely dedicate your life towards the ultimate goal. Then some of you will say that I don't look 75. Then how did I jump directly to sannyas ashram? That is, if in any stage of your life you feel like you're ready for it and you want to go towards that path, you may, if the Guru permits. Second option, like me, if Gurudev adopts you when you were 6 hours old, so then you are into it from birth. But don't take it in the wrong way that I was forced into it and I joined something that I didn't know about or this and that. After I turned a certain age, Gurudev asked me if I want to live a normal life or I'm okay with this. I said I'm completely okay with this. This is my family, this is the path which I need to be on, and this is what I want to do. So I'm here. So then comes sannyas ashram. So in sannyas ashram you come to an ashram like this or any ashram and you dedicate it, your life, your time more towards this. The greatest gift that we can get is our mantra. When we get initiated by a guru with a mantra, you get into one path. And the mantra is like a direct conversation you can have with God, or with the Supreme Self, or with the Higher Self, or whatever you want to call it. So when you do your mantra, it's something that is connecting you and lifting you more up from this worldly things and connecting you to that. That is a reminder to us that we have these beautiful tools which helps us move forward in our spiritual journey. Once upon a time there was one boy named Eklavya, and it was at the time of the Mahabharata. So the Pandavas and the Kauravas. How many of you heard about Mahabharata? Okay, so Mahabharata and Ramayana were two epics which happened, one in Treta Yuga, one in Dwapar Yuga. Ramayana is completely related to Bhagwan Sri Rama, who was the incarnation of Lord Vishnu, and Mahabharata is more about Lord Krishna, where there were two parties. Basically there was one family but two brothers, 5 kids from one father of Pandu, they were named Pandavas, and 100 kids from the other one were Kauravas. Kauravas were the negative aspect, the negative side of it. Pandavas were the positive one. As human beings, we are all drawn towards negativity much easier than towards positive energies. So unfortunately, or because it was meant to be, or whatever, the Mahabharata fight happened, where it was a war between those two. And at that time, Lord Krishna incarnated, because it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. It means when the dharma will be overpowered by adharma. Sorry, my sinuses are a little bit blocked. Dharma means the path of truth, the path of righteousness. Adharma means where not good stuff, evil stuff is going on. So when adharma overpowers dharma, then at that times I shall incarnate. So Lord Krishna incarnated at that time, and he became the charioteer who was taking Arjun around in the Mahabharata. So at that time when they were still young, before this whole things happened, they had a guru named Eklavya and Dronacharya. And Dronacharya was the guru of them. But at that olden times, there used to be a caste system. And in the caste system, it was a hierarchy type thing. So only the kings or the princes or those families could take knowledge from Dronacharya. And Eklavya was a villager from the village and lived in the forest, and he wanted to learn that art of archery. So he came to Dronacharya, he bowed down, he made pranams, and he said, "Oh Gurudev, could you please give me the knowledge of archery? Could you teach me this knowledge?" Immediately the Pandavas and he and everyone said, "No, sorry, we can't. You are not in that space." He said, "As you wish." He made pranam and he moved and he went back home. When he went back home, the first thing he did was he made a beautiful statue of Dronacharya. And after making that beautiful statue, he every day did his rituals, his puja, offered flowers, took the blessing from the statue. That's why it's Nirgun and Sagun. There are two types of bhakti. Nirgun bhakti is where you pray or you worship to nothingness. And Sagun bhakti is where you pray to a photo or statue or any object where you believe that the energy of that specific deity is put in. Like we believe that Shivji is in this, so Shivlinga. Or Swamiji's essence, or we believe that we get that comfort as a living thing in the photo. So that's Sagun bhakti. So he created a statue, he worshipped the statue, and he started practicing. That's the power of Guru Bhakti. When you have faith, when you believe into that. If you don't believe, nothing happens. If you believe, many things can happen. After practicing many years and time, one day the Pandavas and Dronacharya and one dog were in the forest, and the dog's senses are very strong. So he immediately smelled the scent of Eklavya. So he followed and went there and started barking a lot. What Eklavya did was immediately he took his bow and arrow and shot many arrows into the mouth of the dog. And when the dog came back to the Pandavas started taking out the arrows. And later realized that it was really someone professional, because there was not a single arrow which actually punctured any place on his mouth, and there was no blood. It was just to block the barking. Then they immediately told Dronacharya and said, "There is someone better than you. There is another Gurukul which is teaching so good archery, with so much perfection that the archer didn't even hit anything, just blocked the mouth. How is this possible?" They said, "Let's go and see." As soon as they arrived there, Dronacharya saw Eklavya, immediately recognized him, but still asked him, "Who are you, my child?" He said, "I am Eklavya and I am your disciple." And the Pandavas looked at him and said, "Really? I thought we were the only ones, Then comes this ego part, It's only us, how can any other be? He said, "No, I did not initiate you in anything." "No, Gurudev, look, here is your statue. After you denied, I took your blessings and I believed that you are in the form of this statue, and that's why you gave me all the knowledge." And then he said, "Okay, if I'm your Guru, then where's my Guru Dakshina?" Guru Dakshina means a gift, an offering to the Guru, which you give. Anything, my life is yours, whatever you want. Your right thumb, because to hold the arrow, you need these two fingers, or you can also do it like this, but let's say this. So he immediately took it off and cut it and offered it and said, "Here it is." So all the knowledge which he acquired was gone in an instant. But if it said Guru Agya Avicharaniya, which means try not to find the logic, behind what the Guru says and why he says it, because he knows better than us. Because the only one who is Trikaldarshi, Tri means three, Kala means time, and Darshi means the one who can see. Do we know what will happen in the future? It's an interactive thing, you can say yes or no. No. What happened in the past, can we change it? No. So if we can't change what happened in the past, then why do we go so much in the past and worry about this and that and bother with our heads going deep? I did this. Yeah, we did something. Every human being does a mistake. We learn from our mistakes and we do not repeat it. But there's no sense of being stuck in the past all the time, worrying about why it happened and this and that. It will just create more troubles for us in our mind. Future, we don't know, but still, we are always creating the scenarios in our mind. What if this will happen, or what if that will happen? What if is future. We don't know it. Most of the circumstances which we create in our minds most probably won't even happen. But still we create it, because who likes peace? With too much peace, life will become boring. So to not make our life boring, we make troubles for ourselves. We create scenarios which will not happen most of the time. Maybe some extent might happen, but most of the time we just create something that does not need to be thought about. What happens, what if my store will get robbed? No, Nagan bhai? Say what? And then nothing happens, but his head will be all day worrying about, did I lock my store? Did I turn on the cameras? Did I close the shutter, lock the shutter in the night? Did I close the doors? Is the staff honest or not? And so many things. But if we have faith and we just say, Naham Karta Pravdeep Karta, my problems are your problems, my happiness is your happiness, my sadness is your happiness, let them deal with it. How life happens is, it will happen as it's going to happen. What's going to happen in our destiny will happen. The only person who can change our destiny is Him. So if we have faith and we surrender and we say, everything is yours, you deal with it. I'm just the observer. I'm higher than that. I'm higher than the problems. Then that shall also pass. But if we indulge ourselves so deeply into our daily affairs and daily matters, it will just make us nuts. And not to make our mind completely collapse and crash and have a mental breakdown, we let things happen as they're happening in their own time, in their own space. Whatever happens, happens for a reason. Whatever is happening for a good reason. Whatever is happening because it's meant to be happening. If it wouldn't happen, it wouldn't happen. So if it's happening, let it happen. If there are problems, really bad problems, just know that it shall pass and good times will also come. When good times are there, just know that that time also shall pass, so enjoy it as much as you can while you can. Because you never know when that happy moments end and again something comes. It's best to be in the present. About destiny, this story I mentioned many times, but not to this audience, so let's do it again. There was one kingdom, and in that kingdom, every kingdom had a Rajguru. A Raja means a king, and Guru means a Guru. So in the night, the Guruji was sitting outside his hut, and he saw one goddess entering the kingdom and going towards the king's palace. He asked, "Who are you?" She said, "I am the Vidata, I am the person who writes the destinies for the people who are going to be born." "Why did you come to this kingdom?" "Because the king is going to have twins tonight, and I'm going to write the destiny." Guruji said, "Okay, but just know that they are my disciples, the king is my disciple, so write something nice and good." After that, what comes in? Ego. She said, "Who are you to tell me what to do? I am the one who is writing the destiny. I will write what I want, not what you want." Guruji said, "Okay, just telling you." So she went, and after she came back, Guruji said, "So, how was it?" She said, "Bad." Okay, so what? Do you want to change it? No. The king will have an attack, he will die. The queen will die. The kids will be orphaned, but they will be taken care by the person who makes potter. And when they grow up, one kid will go for hunting, but will never be able to get more than one prey back home, so it won't be sufficient enough for everyone to be fed. Second kid will go and have a horse and transport goods from one place to another, but still won't be able to get enough money to sustain the family. Guruji said, okay, no worries. Next morning the king comes with sweets and this and that and full procession and drums and music. And Guruji, pranam. I got twins. Guruji didn't seem to be so happy. He said, I need to go to the other ashram and meditate, and I have some work, I'm going. So the king sensed it. If there's some beautiful time like this where there's twins and I got a child and the guru is leaving, so it's not a good sign, but what to do? So as it was written, it happened. After some time there was an attack on the kingdom. The king was killed. The queen was kidnapped, and the kids were found by a potter on the boundary wall of the kingdom. They grew up every day as it was written. They used to go to hunt, didn't manage to get more than one prey. The other one was having a horse, but didn't manage to earn enough money. After many, many years, when the Guruji came back, he came and asked, where is the princes, or where are the kids? They said, Guruji, you are too late. After you left, this whole disaster happened. He said, I know. That's why, you might have heard Gurudev also many times. He says, you come to him and say something and he says, I know. Then we wonder, how does he know everything? Because Trikaldarshi. Many times the Guru is not going to tell you directly what to do, because that is against the laws. He can't tell you that, oh, this is going to happen to you, don't do this. No. But life example, in front of me, what happened was, we were sitting in Nepal ashram one day, in India, and there was, we are jumping with stories, but okay, I'll come back to this one. We were sitting in Nepal ashram, and there was one very high-ranking officer, Mangalaji. And he came to the ashram, and he was sitting there. And after, always looking at the clocks, you know how these high-ranking officers are, they always want to disappear as soon as possible. So, and he said, okay, Swamiji, I need to go. Swamiji said, sit. He sat, Guru Agya Vicharaniya, he can't say much, so he sat longer. 10-15 minutes later again, Swamiji, I need to go. Sit. Then after the third time, he again said, Swamiji, I need to go. So the Guru will tell you 3 times. If you want to listen after that, not, that's your wish. So third time he said, okay. Third time he left. And after a few hours we got a call, and we knew, because he was such a high profile guy, his car was shot from every single direction, but only a single bullet managed to go through, and it literally went like this through his shirt. It didn't even touch him. So that is the blessings of the Gurudev. But if he would have stayed back, that time space would have passed, and that would not have happened. But because it happened, and still the Guru Kripa was there, the blessings of the Guru was there, didn't harm him, it just went through. That is the Kripa. And that's why it said, don't try to find logic, or don't try to wonder why he's telling you to sit. If he's telling you to sit, there is obviously something that he can see, but we cannot see. And I believe that many of you who were many years with Swamiji have had such experiences. So since that day, if Swamiji always tells me also things, 2 times if I say no, and 3rd time if he mentions it, I know that I need to do it. So then I don't question it anymore. So there are things which happen. So coming back to the story, he came and he went to the potter's house, and he told the kids that you were the actual princes, and your father was the king of this kingdom. They said, if you are the guru of our father, then you are the guru of us also, so what can we do? Please instruct us. He said, just do these simple things. Every day when you go to hunt, have it in your head that I will only hunt a golden deer. Nothing else. Doesn't matter if the goddess gives you the biggest prey possible, do not hunt it. Have it in your head that I will only go back home with a golden deer. That's it. And because in your destiny it's written that you will come back home with at least one thing in the evening before sunset, and you don't hunt anything, she will have to give you a golden deer till you go home. And to the second brother, you have a horse, it's written that you will be working with your horse whole life, so every morning sell your horse. How will you work? Because it's saying that you have to work with the horse, so she will have to give you another horse, sell that one also. So this process went on for a long time. Every day golden deer selling, every day horses, 2-3 horses a day selling, and slowly they eventually got back to their feet and got well off, basically. And then the current ruler had also 2 daughters, so richest person in the kingdom got married to the princesses and lawfully got back their kingdom, and everything was peacefully going. So the guru has the power to make a king a beggar or a beggar a king. That is the power of a guru. But it is in our hands, as I said, to choose if we want to go to that path or not. He is not going to force us, he is not going to drag us, say this is the path. No. He will show us the path. He is that torchlight which is showing that light. But to walk on that path or not, that is ultimately going to be our decision. If we want to move forward with it or not, that is going to be our decision. But once we do accept it, and once we enter to that and surrender and be okay with it, then believe me, he will take care of you. The guru can be a he, a guru can be a she, a guru can be anyone, whoever you adopt as your guru. But just know that that guru should be a true guru, not someone who just is a self-proclaimed guru. If a guru has a lineage, if a guru has knowledge, if he is someone really, and you will have that feeling immediately. There are many people who had to go to maybe 10 different gurus to finally find one. So that's okay. But once you do choose one, then don't jump around. Once you take one as your guru, that remains your guru. You can learn, take knowledge from many other gurus, but if you got mantra diksha from anyone, that is going to be your guru forever. Doesn't matter what. That's how it works. Because when he gives you something as powerful as a mantra, his energy, his life blessings, everything goes into that. When he blesses you, when he touches your hand, what happens in that time? There is energies which is flowing through the guru to the disciple. The energies can be even felt here, even if Swamiji is physically not present here, but his presence was here, and because it was here, this space has been consecrated with that energy and with that space. When you're outside in the outer world, you can feel that chaos, that tension, the movements. When you come here, it doesn't matter what chaos is going out, it feels like you're in a separate world. It feels like you're sitting somewhere which is totally a different place. Why? Because this holds that energies here. Madhuramji, some experiences with Swamiji?
Yes, well, many, of course. Many experiences, beautiful moments. Depends how much time you have.
We have the whole day, apparently. And I can't speak the whole day, so I don't mind. Sharing is caring.
Sure. Well, a long time ago, well, about 10 years ago when I came to New Zealand, we had that time another part of the land outside of cities, and it was meant to be a retreat place, but it never really kind of moved from its starting point very much. And financially also, and in any way, it was not really very good vision for the future for this thing. So Swamiji said we should sell it, but bring the cabins. And we had these 3 cabins that are about this size, 3 meters by 3 meters. And these cabins were on this land where it was quite steep, sloping down. So we came there, and with one friend, he's a builder, and he said, no problem, we just get the company and they uplift the cabins and put it on the trucks and bring it to the ashram and take a crane and drop it there and job done. Well, it turned out that no machines, we tried I think 2 companies, they could not get up there because the road was a bit too narrow and then it was too steep down, and so every time when there was some difficulty, I kind of, with this, it's an interesting mind that you bring to your master, saying it's not possible. This is the one thing you should never say to Swamiji.
Because when you tell Swamiji it's not possible, then he will push it till it is possible.
Exactly. So I told him once that this and that, and then he said, well, look, just there's no problem. Just pull the buildings apart, write on each piece of wood and part of the buildings where it belongs, put it on the 4-wheel drive, what you call the trailer, and bring it back to Ramati, and then slowly build it back together, and you have the cabins. And this was a vision for quite a big job. It was the winter time, and we were going there in between of teaching 16 classes a week, driving there and back and dismantling, actually engaging in a work that I never trained for. I had no idea what I'm doing. But actually we managed to pull the thing apart and bring it to the ashram. And we started to build it with this guy. And then Swamiji came, it was ready, and I remember he was very happy. He was probably more happy that I did not give up than that the buildings were there. That's really the nature of the Guru. He was not interested in having those buildings as much there as that we don't give up. And then I was very happy and sitting. I remember we sat together. Swamiji managed to fit 12 people in that little building, and we had the very beautiful moments there. And just the moment that I relaxed and thought of, on one side I was happy that we managed, the other side I was happy that it's finished. And then he says, why not make it a little bigger?
Yeah. That's how it was with Home Ashram.
So we extended about this much. I thought, well, okay, sure. And then when that was done, then he says, oh, well, you can extend to this side. And then he came, and he was really actually, he was very happy, and he was coming for one night. And suddenly it happened that he could not get the visa to get to Australia. And so from one night it became 2 nights, and 3 nights, and 4 nights, and we were just really feeling very blessed, and it was almost obvious that he was trying to stay longer to give us that presence that we invested in that, in those not giving up, basically. And he stayed 8 nights, and then he got the visas and went further for his journey. So, and I learned a lot through the building, actually, because I had no idea that builder, he left at some point, and he said, I thought I know enough that I can carry on my own. So with the YouTube and some things I did try. Many times I came to the point that actually I didn't know what I'm doing, and it always ended up good. When I called my friends that they were builders like Gyananand, John, he said, just start and it will flow. Thank you very much, it's great. It's all I wanted to hear. But actually it did work. And I started to realize that I'm learning a very new skill, which is that what we chant always, Naham Karta, in a practical way. That it was not in the field of teaching yoga that I was always thinking that that's where it's going to be, or the music, or bhajans, or whatever. But it was in some other place where I was never thinking that it's going to be there, and that's the building. And actually it really did work. And the more I was giving up, or not giving up, but letting go, yeah? That surrendering and giving up are two very different energies. Yeah? To surrender is not, doesn't mean to give up, to be inactive. And it was a great experience. Still today, there was a little fixings here and there. And from the fear of not being able to carry on, actually now it turned into excitement when there is some thing that Swamiji says, like once we were also in Australia, and I entered the room telling pranams to Gurudev and that I'm leaving. And there were only two people, him and I, and he said, where are you going? I said, well, I'm going back to New Zealand. And he said, oh, can't you change your ticket and come with me to Sydney? I said, maybe I can, but he said, try and put it to my flight that you come with me. But he had a different flight company than me, so it was impossible. They would not swap. But then I remembered this memory from just bypassing my rational mind. Swamiji said, okay, let's try. So, and he looked and smiled, and I know that smile by now. I said, okay, I'll do. So I was going to the airport, and these two people, Swamiji said, and you go with him, you're going to fly. Okay, so we all three went in the car. And on the way there, this lady, she turns to me and she says, in case that it's not going to work, that to switch from one flight company to the next, we were trying 3 days to give Swamiji a donation. And whenever we approached him with the money, he turned away. And it was so many times that we really did not succeed. So we think really that he wants you to go, so here is the money. And what they wanted to give him all these 3 days was exactly the cost of the new flight ticket that they bought me to go next day to Sydney. So it's very well worth to give it a go when when these Trikaldarshis, these saintly souls, they see much further and deeper than really we can do. Yes, and now including my last story, I can mention which is recent. That Swamiji has now, he's not talking very much, and
it's not very much anymore. It's
not at all. Yeah. And my friend Ganga, Swami Ganga, she went to India and she was telling me, oh, you should come with me, you should come, and you go then see Swamiji. And I kept saying, well, look, I have duties here if I go, classes and this and that. And then on 24th evening, on the Christmas evening, which is our Christmas in Europe, no? I was in my yearly silent Anushtan retreat, and I closed my eyes. I said, I will only go if you tell me, to Swamiji. Next morning, I sent him something through Ganga. Next morning, I get message that I gave your present to Swamiji, and he remembered you, your name, and he said you should come. So, obviously, he's well aware of our thoughts, our feelings, and that's many stories like this. I think everybody would have something. Yes. Also, on the other side, when I know a friend who Swamiji was trying to tell her that not to travel somewhere, and she insisted, and he told her again, and she went anyway and got very bad malaria in South India. And it went so far that the doctors called her family to come and say goodbye to her. Her lungs were full of water and she was dying, basically. And yes, after just a few days after that, she started to recover, and she's still alive and have no rational explanation how this could happen. But I think she learned her for this life. Yes, and I often think, who actually, when we meet each other, when we walk these lives, that who has actually time. It requires a lot of mental space to fill your life with thinking of others. That the availability of the Guru must be so great that there is no space for himself. He's just always full with working for other people.
That's our life.
Yes, we are coming there. But it's beautiful to really to encounter another person in our lives that is there for you. We ask, how are you? But very rare people actually have a time and space and availability to sit with the other and be there for the other person. And that's what we, I think, encounter with Swamiji. First thing, that when he asks, how are you? He's ready there to sit with you if you tell him anything. Until today, I have not met really anybody else who is so available, really. Would that be enough?
For now.
Ariel?
About not giving up. Giving up is not a solution for us. In the same way as when we climb a mountain or when we climb a staircase, if we are climbing a mountain or going on a trek, if we get tired, what do? Have a break, sit down, relax. Not give and go all the way back down. So, in the same way, if in life we have barriers, if we have problems, if we have something, it's okay to sit down, have a break, but not giving up. In the same way, in the path, it's very hard to climb up. But if you give up, it's very easy. That means if something, kusanga or anything, then you straight fall back down, and then you have to climb those stairs again. So if you need a break, sit down, take a break, then continue. But giving up is not a solution. And that's what Gurudev has been teaching us our whole life. And earlier we were talking when Divya was fixing this, I just remembered about Karma Yoga. So these all are 4 paths, but I would say it's 4 rivers merging into that same ocean. Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, and Raja Yoga. Jnana Yoga is when we read scriptures, when we read our books, the knowledge which we are gaining, that's Jnana Yoga. Bhakti Yoga, I would say what he does often, playing, singing, bhajans, kirtans, these all come under Bhakti Yoga, where we feel joy, where we feel happiness. Raja Yoga also, meditation, awareness, kriyas, mana, this all is Raja Yoga. And Karma Yoga, Swamiji's favorite. You come to Jardin and first thing you get is Karma Yoga. How many times did it happen that some of you came to Jardin and what's the Karma Yoga? Clean the toilet. Why? Because that's not something bad. That is, when you come, you have expectations. When you come to a place, oh, I came from so far, this, that, there are expectations. That's the problem with expectations. When we have expectations and our expectations are not fulfilled, then comes resentment, anger, the emotions, these emotions come up. But when we just go with the flow and believe that everything is okay, then expectations are lower and these emotions hit us less. And why are these type of karma yogas being given is to burn our ego, to burn that I am better than this, I do not need to do this, I am higher than this I, to burn this I, karma yoga. And that's why we are blessed to have Gurudev, because he implemented all these 4 paths in our lives. Every day we do our prayer, bhajans, these things, we do bhakti yoga. We do our mala, we do kriya, we do this, Raja yoga. We read books, scriptures, Lila Amrit, Hidden Powers, Yoga and Daily Life, any books, Jnana Yoga. And we help in the ashram, we help in our place, in our home, anything, that's Karma Yoga. So all these paths are leading into and merging into that same ocean. These are not separate paths. If a person has only Bhakti Yoga and too much happiness, then it's also not so good. Too much Jnana Yoga, that person will become too serious. Too much Raja Yoga, the person will become very boring. Too much Karma Yoga, the body will be too aching and he will be just sleeping. So, implementing all 4 paths together into that same, it's going into that same path. So we should not have that division that we are Raja Yogis or we are Bhakti Yogis or we are Karma Yogis or we are this yogi. We are all into that same thing. We're all leading. But we sing always, Hame hai kama satsanga se jagat bake to bakane de. We need to, 2 spoons please, 2 or 3. Our what?
Page 97.
Thank you, Dad.
माफ करना, मेरी आंटी की नेफ्यू आई है अमेरिका से, तो उसको ले जाना है मेरे को 3 मिनट।
शाम को
श्री दीपनारायण भगवान की जय। हमें काम सत्संग से जगत भक्त बकने दे। हमें काम सत्संग से जगत बके तो बकने दे। हमें काम सत्संग से जगत बके तो बकने दे।
दीपक भाई खाना वाला
हमें काम सत्संग से जगत बके तो बकने दे। पिता और माता ये भाई धन और माल लोकन का। पिता और माता ये भाई धन और माल लोकन का। निरंजन ध्यान करने से अगर मिटे तो मिटने रे, निरंजन ध्यान करने से अगर मिटे तो मिटने रे, हमें काम सत्संग से जगत भके तो भकने रे, हमें काम सत्संग से जगत भके तो भकने रे। रहु गुरु शरण में जाके मिटे सब फंद 84, रहु गुरु शरण में जाके मिटे सब फंद 84, लोक कर्मों के भोगों में अगर डूबे तो डूबन दे, लोक कर्मों के भोगों में अगर डूबे तो डूबन दे, हमें काम सत्संग से जगत भके तो भकने रे, हमें काम सत्संग से जगत भके तो भकने रे। गुरु के यास गान की लगी दिल बीच में मेरे, गुरु के यास गान की लगी दिल बीच में मेरे, ये मोह जाल की फांसी अगर छूटे तो छूटन दे, ये मोह जाल की फांसी अगर छूटे तो छूटन दे, हमें काम सत्संग से जगत भके तो भकने रे, हमें काम सत्संग से जगत भके तो भकने रे। जपू अब जाप सोम का करूँ कलियान में अपना, जपू अब जाप सोम का करूँ कलियान में अपना, बंदी सिर पाप की गठरी अगर खुले तो खुलने दे, बंदी सिर पाप की गठरी अगर खुले तो खुलने दे, हमें काम सत्संग से जगत भके तो भकने रे, हमें काम सत्संग से जगत भके तो भकने रे। साहेब श्री देवा पुरी सपूरा निजानंद जिल मिले नूरा, साहेब श्री देवा पुरी सपूरा निजानंद जिल मिले नूरा, शरण में दीप रहे तेरी अगर मिले तो मिलने दे, शरण में दीप रहे तेरी अगर मिले तो मिलने दे, हमें काम सत्संग से जगत भके तो भकने रे, हमें काम सत्संग से जगत भके तो भकने रे। श्री दीप नरम भगवान की जय, सतगुरु देव की जय।
हमें है काम सत्संग से. There are two types of sangs. Yesterday, did we talk about it? No. But those of you who were not here yesterday. Two types of sang. Sangha means gathering. Kusanga or satsanga. Kusanga means the negative gathering and satsanga means a positive gathering. Like now we are all gathered here for satsang. Satsang does not need to mean that you all need to come here to ashram, gather here and become satsang. No. Even at your own homes, if there is talks of positivity, spirituality, any type of positive talks and truthful talks, that becomes a satsang. So it's saying in this bhajan that hame hai kama satsang se. We want satsang, we don't want anything else. It doesn't matter what the world is shouting or barking in the background, our job is to go to satsang. So if we took the first initiative to come here in satsang, that is already the first step that we needed, which is good. Rest, everything is guided, is helped and created by him. That's why we sing Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu. He's the Brahma, he's Vishnu, he's Mahesh, he's everyone. So if he's everything, if he's higher than all these god and goddesses, they all come for parikrama around him, then what is the doubt? There should not be any doubts. When there's no doubts, when there are no worries, when there is no problems, when there is nothing that is affecting our mental state of mind, then truly we feel that inner peace and that inner joy and inner happiness which we have been talking about all the time. But for that we need to believe that it is okay. We need to understand that what is happening is okay. Why is it happening? It's also okay. But we're only going to get inner peace when we believe that, when we understand that, when we accept ourselves for who we are. Most of the time we are doubting ourselves. Most of the time we doubt, are we good enough? Is it okay what we're doing? Do I do this right? Do I do that right? Yes. We are the best versions of ourselves. Whatever we do is right. Whatever we are doing is in our most capacity that we can do. Are we doing something wrong? Maybe sometimes, but that's also okay because we are human beings. If we don't make mistakes and everything is perfect, then we are not humans. Then we are superhumans, which we are not. So it's okay to make mistakes. It's not okay to think about it and worry about it for ages, but it's okay to make mistakes because without mistakes, how do we move forward? How do we learn from it? But as Madhuramji was saying, giving up, that should not be there. We do a mistake and we decide that we want to give up. No. But we do a mistake and we learn from it and we say, okay, we're not going to do it again. That's okay. But when we have that guiding light and everything, trust and believe and surrender, that's the three key things in our spiritual journey. When we surrender and we understand that we are just the puppets and the one who is controlling it is them, then we know that there is nothing to worry about. Chinta mat karana teri Satguru rakhe laaj chinta mat karana, which means Satguru Dev is taking care of you, he is guiding you, he is protecting you, and he is taking care of you. But you need to understand that he is. If we believe that he is taking care of you, then he will. It's the same way as there is a river with a very narrow plank in between. But when the child is walking on it and holding its mother's hand or father's hand, he or she believes that yes, I am being protected, they're holding me, nothing will happen to me. In the same way, when we are crossing this ocean of Maya, of illusion, this all chaos, and he's holding our hand, then we know that we are being protected and nothing can harm us. I say that we are in this bubble which cannot be popped or punctured by anything or anyone, because there is this protective layer over us. If there is supposed to be, like yesterday's story, if you are supposed to have a very bad accident, but instead of that you just get a thorn, that is also because of the grace. Because he can reduce what is supposed to happen in your destiny, or he can increase what is supposed to happen. That's up to him. But that depends also on us. How on us? If we are progressing, it depends on what we do in our lives. Some karmas we bring from previous lives. Some karmas we create in this life. Many karmas we burn in this life, and many karmas we will take forward. So if we are doing good things, then good things will happen to us. If we do bad things will happen to us. When we say Jiva Jiva Bhakshate, That does not mean that we should eat animals. If we, or they've always said, you cut one chicken, next life you will be cut as a chicken. Simple. So if we are following the path, if it's done without knowing why, that's a different thing. But knowingly if we are doing it, that's wrong. Any karma if we're doing, then that has to be done with awareness. Anything that we do should be done with awareness. Yesterday we were talking about it. If we are in satsang, full awareness here. If we are at work, full awareness at work. Whatever we do, it should be with awareness, with affection, with love, with feelings. Without that, not going to work. But if we do something, then it should be done with awareness. Doesn't matter if we are meditating, then that meditation should be done with awareness. When Sevadevi is teaching yoga, she does it with full awareness. She is knowing what she's telling you. In the same way, when we are practicing yoga, we are practicing it with awareness. We know which part of our body is being affected by which pose. Like when we do this will hurt. If we do this, that will hurt. I'm not used to walk so much, so in Fiji, I went for a long walk, and then for 3 days my calves were completely aching, and my thighs and everything. I was like, yeah. So I was aware that I was walking and this would happen, so that's awareness. Or when we're doing our mala, we are aware that we are doing our mala because the awareness, the concentration is there. Either we do mansik puja, which means we do the puja, the rituals, everything within, that is more focused. I was listening to one lecture a few days back. There's a difference when you offer directly to the deity, to the statue, to the photo, or when we are doing it mentally. For beginning, it's good to do it like this, but in long term, they say that if you are doing it, then if it's done with mansik in the inner consciousness, then it's much more concentrated, because if you're doing here, you're holding this, doing here, offering this, offering that, your mind can still travel here and there. But if we're doing mansik puja, then the full awareness, the concentration has to be on what you are imagining and what you're creating there, otherwise it's lost. Awareness, our mind is so fast. Why is it called, in India we call our mind a monkey mind? Why? Because monkey is restless. In the same way is our mind. Our mind runs in different places. Now I talked about Fiji, and how many of you thought about Fiji and its beauty and weather? Or I talk about India, and then I asked how many of you were in India, and then some of you were thinking about your experiences in India, or anything. So some thought comes and then mind just goes. So to hold that concentration on something for a certain amount of time is very hard. Probably a few milliseconds you can be concentrated on something, like proper focus. Even when we do tratak, we are doing tratak to that flame, but our thoughts might be somewhere else. We are doing our mala or arti. That's why now when I do arti, I'm concentrating there, that's one thing, but I'm also trying to understand the words of the arti, so the concentration at least stays in the arti, doesn't go here and there. Before I used to sing bhajans as songs. Now when I sing bhajans, I'm more aware of it, because I'm trying to listen and understand the words and trying to find new meanings of it. Because every time I sing nowadays a new bhajan, there is a new meaning which comes up, or a new sentence which didn't occur to me in the last time. So that's how we can start learning how to bring our focus onto something that we wish to do. But the focus is necessary, doesn't matter what we do. And now as Bhaktanand is traveling with me, and his new goal is public speaking, and we are practicing that on my tour. Little bit context. Actually he will tell the context. About how he ended up here with me. And then whatever he wants to add. Yeah, it will go on. You're on a satsang tour for 1 month, so enjoy. You will have many of these. I told him to come with, he quit his job, and now he's here for 1 month. And
so long version or short version?
Long version, we have a whole day, as I said. And sometimes if we have other people speaking, then I get the time to a little bit re-collaborate.
Okay. So everything, like, this thing started actually last summer when Swami Avatar was in Strilki. At that time we met after quite some time and we were a bit longer together. And then shortly after that, in September, he went back to India. I was, of course, I'm from Slovenia, living in Ljubljana. I had the work, job, everything. And he just suddenly calls me and I think Gopal Puri, hey, come to India. And like Gopal Puri, one other guy from Slovenia, he was already packing and I was like, oh, I really want to go. But at that time I was like, if I go now, I will lose my job. And he was like, yeah, come. And I was like...
He said, I'll lose my job. I said, yeah, quit it, come.
I was really close to going, but I was like, no, it's not a good time. But somebody else mentioned at that time, yeah, then you'll go with him to Fiji and Australia and New Zealand. I was like, yeah, sure. And then a few months passed, and then in the middle of November, from one day to another, I just I'll quit my job, and I quit my job. And at that time, he had the Great Britain tour in England, in London, and I was like, oh, he's there. Let's go and visit him for a few days. So I booked my tickets for 3 days, and I go there. We were together, and I think you were saying something about what we'll do on Sunday. I'm like, Sunday morning I'm leaving. I'm like, why? And I was like, I don't know. I have no real reason to go back home. I didn't have a job, so I prolonged for a week. And then he suddenly says, you should come to me with India for a month, from 15th of December to 15th of Jan. And I was like, oh, I know. Because the thing, when I left my job, I was working in software engineering and I was head of some department.
Highly paid, good job.
Yeah, but I was like, it didn't feel good anymore. I felt empty being there. So I wanted to go in front of people, to talk to people. So this, what he's saying, actually has a bit truth behind it. Because I was whole life I was really afraid of public speaking, and of course working in software, you're in front of computer and working with team. But I got really bored of that. So. But of course, first when I quit, what our mind does is starts to calculate, and then okay, first few weeks I will take off, and then I'll do this, and then I'll start. Just mind goes into its own thing and starts to plan how the future will be, because of course mind always wants to know what the next step is, and of course anybody who knows Swamiji and or our lineage, he likes to break that, your plans and your house of cards.
Some in good steps.
Yeah, and that's what he did. The moment when he said, "Come to me to India with me," I was it happened. The realization, of course, because I didn't even think of it before, to go to India to see Swamiji after a long time, and I was like, yes. Part of me was yes, and part of me was panic mode. Oh, what about my plans, But then after a few days, I was like, yeah, I'll go. But then, of course, few days after, he started, and then you come with me to Fiji and New Zealand and Australia. And I was like, and that's also financial burden, because if you have no income, and even if you have something prepared, I have no idea when I'll start my business
And then comes the part with trust and surrender.
Yeah, and then there was in London, there was another guy, maybe some of you know him, Hanuman, he's from Czech, but he lived in London a lot, most of recent years. And I had a really good conversation with him. And he said, everything in life is about your relationship with God. So if God wants you to go with him, just tell God. I'll go with him, but you take care of everything else. And it was like clicked in my mind. I was like, yes, of course. And then I was just like innerly, I knew I'm going. I didn't even mention to him like fixed, like, yeah, I'm coming. But innerly I was like, okay, I'm going. Of course, at home, mom, like parents, family, friends, everybody was like, are you retarded? But I was like, you know. So I went. First we were like in India for a month. Had a few really nice things there. Visited Mumbai and like few different functions where Swami Avatar was invited, and I was there with like helping with things and supporting him. And now we're here. Yeah, like we had few days of 4 days of Fiji. Now it's like 5th day here or 4th day. I don't even know because
day, time, space go down the drain with me. So
yeah, it's
don't
all.
really
Also, yeah, like after this trip ends, of course, first I thought, oh, I'm going to India for a month, then that month for like Australia, New Zealand tour, and then back home. Of course, I'm not going back home. I'm going back to India.
Back to India with me.
I'm going back because it's Shivaratri, and I was like, of course. Like, what? I mean, why would I go home? There's like literally nothing there to right now to go back to. So yeah. I guess somewhere in March I'll probably spawn back in Slovenia, but
We'll see about that.
we'll see. But like one thing that I'm really taking practice here is just surrender, and just like it doesn't mean that you're just like you don't give up rat's ass about everything, but no, you're just don't you yeah, but rats and
Yeah, okay, got the point.
the thing is that this doesn't mean that you're just like, yeah, I'm not gonna do anything. Of course you do. Of course you work. Of course you strive. But you just don't. You don't look at the result. You're not.
You're not worrying.
Yeah, you're worried about the result. Whatever happens will happen, and how it will happen, good. If it looks not as you wanted it, that just means there's something or something for you to learn from it, or that it's just not the end yet, It's just you have to not give up and go on. So that's like really a big practicing part. Like, because on one side, yeah, traveling, it sounds good, but still, our minds are all the time. What will happen when you come back? What will these things, and you just every day have to just be everything will be fine, and I really believe it will be. So, want more?
As you wish.
I can tell you one more story, because when Swami Madhavaram was talking about experiences with Swamiji, I remembered one thing that also happened to me. It was years ago. I just finished my studies. I was my master's degree in mechanical engineering. I had scholarship at one company for a lot of years, so they paid me quite a lot of money, but then usually you have to go and work after you finish your studies. But at that time, I know it was like summer seminar in Strilki. There was a lot of talks about Om Ashram and things there, and karma yoga, and all these things were like, sounded so good. But after I finished in September, of course, I have to go work. But I went to Swamiji and I was like, Swamiji, I would like to go to India for 6 months to do karma yoga. And he was like, and I told him, like, after I finish my studies, I want to go to do karma yoga. And he was like, what are you studying? And I said, yeah, master's degree in mechanical engineering. And he was like, so you want to become a master? And I was like, ugh. But yeah. Then he blessed me. He said, talk to Yogesh, and he gave me blessing. So I was like, okay. And then I contacted the company where I had scholarship, and I told them, yeah, I'm finishing now in September, but I would really like to go for 6 months to travel. I didn't tell the details. I just said to travel a little bit. Is that possible? And the lady from HR was like, actually we right now we don't have any work for you anyway. So yeah, go, just contact us when you're coming back. So I was like, oh, good. So this part was okay. Then 6 months, what happened there? Totally another story. But after I came back, of course, I had to contact them. So I wrote an email. Yeah, I'm back. I'm ready to do whatever I have to do. And there was like for 3 weeks, there was no answer. And this was some company in small town where I was born, but I didn't want to live there. So, but if I had to, I would go. But it was not a job that I actually wanted. So after 3 weeks, when they didn't reply to me, I was like, okay, I started looking for actual job that I want. And I found in Ljubljana, like, perfect, exactly, like when I was reading the description of a job, when I wrote in the Google, it was first hit, and it was like exactly what I wanted. It was connected to what my master's thesis was, and it was like, so I applied, went for the interview and everything, some tests, and of course I thought like they will never, like, I thought I totally crashed it, but like after like 3 weeks, this guy from this company calls me and he said, yeah, we chose you. And I was like, oh, what to do now? Because I'm still contracted with the other company, but I was like, no, I want this job. So I was just like, yeah, I accept, and okay, good. And then we started talking like on the phone for the terms, start in, I don't know, September, blah, blah. And I was like, oh. And then I look at mail and I saw that company contacted me like 1 hour ago, like the next day I have to come for the interview to talk about working there. And then I was like, one night thinking like what to do, how I will pay all this, I don't know, 20,000 euros or whatever back. But I was just like surrendering it, and like what will happen will happen. And then I come next day to that company, sit down with the HR lady, and she was really nice. And then she sits me down and she's like, Vid, you did everything what you had to do on your side, but we have to unfortunately tell you that we cannot hire you. We at the moment don't have any free space, so you're free of your contract. And I was just like that. Okay, I will survive, because I couldn't tell them, because my mom worked at that company. She said if they know that you had some other arrangement, they would just say, no, you have to come, because then I would have to pay if I wouldn't. So yeah, everything happened perfect, better than I could imagine. So I went there, did my 6 months of karma yoga, but then I got exactly the job that I couldn't even imagine that it would be possible. And it was just when it popped up just at the moment when I came back, and I got it, and I got free of like the scholarship. So everything was like, to me it was totally clear, because everything came together so smoothly that I knew it's just a blessing. So those things, when you surrender and you just do small things, at the end everything comes together. So at least that's my experience, and I believe that a lot of other people can share them as well. But it's true that you have to have some faith. You have to, of course, do things. It just doesn't mean just look in the sky and scratch your ears. But yeah. Deepnaram Bhagavana ki jai.
Yeah, even Lord Krishna said, karma karo phal ki chinta mat karo, means do your karma, don't worry about the fruits or the results of what will come. So in life, you do what you wish, and everything will happen as the divine flow wants it to happen, and it will happen according to your wish and his wish. So it will be good for you always at the end of the day. But if there wouldn't be trust, if there wouldn't be surrenderness, then probably it would be a different story. That's why in life, doesn't matter how tough the life may seem, but at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that I don't have problems. We all have problems, but we all have different type of problems, you know. We all live in a different type of world. Not same world, but different way of living. So problems arise for everyone. But problems are there to keep us entertained. Because without problems, what would we do? So problems are there to be solved, that we are not so bored. And when we solve problems and finally we think we are free, then they throw at us another problem. And then sometimes we get those happy moments in between and we waste it in worrying about what's the next problem. So let us just enjoy the moments as they come and enjoy the problems also as they come. And we will solve them and deal with it when and how they happen. But when we have trust and when we have faith, then everything will move. Without trust and faith, it won't move. And that's why we say Guru Kripa Hi Kevalam Shishya Kya Ananda Mangalam, which means when Guru Dev's blessings and teachings are there, then the disciple is in ultimate bliss. And ultimate bliss can be achieved with our inner realization, with the grace and blessings of the Master. When we have the blessings and the grace of the Master, all the doings and not doings and everything goes smoothly, and then we are in that bliss. But that bliss can be achieved with the blessings of His, but by the efforts of us, like he said. Not just looking in the sky and thinking that everything will happen, but we need to do the effort of doing it. That's why it said, do the karma, do what you're supposed to do. And how it happens, how it unfolds, that's a different thing. But the effort has to be done by us. Without doing the effort, without trying to do something, it won't be. You can stay standing, you can, Nicola, you can sit there because next is you. That's what I learned from Swamiji, surprising people on the spot.
I can give you the sit.
It's okay.
No, take it.
So, just for context, these are 4 people traveling with, so I like to sometimes surprise them, yeah. That's Bhaktanand, Nirmala Devi from London, then we have Ashtang from Australia, and then we have Mokshanand from Slovenia. So, you all will get a chance here and there. So, just a caution.
Hari Om, I'm Nirmala Devi. So back in November, we had the absolute pleasure of having Swami Avatarpuriji come to London, and we'd been waiting for quite some time for you to get your visa. And I arranged it so that as soon as I knew that I was available, so that I could do whatever I could to help and be there. And so it was an amazing week. I think Avatarpuriji had said that the weather had been like terrible, torrential rain, just non-stop grim. And as a Londoner, I was sort of quite disappointed because I kind of wanted to, at least when we had a little bit of time, to sort of show him the sights with the rest of the London Bhaktas. And unsurprisingly now is what I'm realising for our travels, that the weather was just like glorious for these days. And so while we were there, during that time, Avatarji had said, oh, you know, when are you going to come to India when we're done? And I said, I'm not sure, hopefully I'll come for a week or so in December, January. And then during that time, there was also the mention of Fiji, New Zealand, Australia. And I was like, there's no chance that's happening, no chance. I'm starting a new business, I've got a new business partner, but I want to go and see Gurudev, Swamiji. So so I ended up booking to come to India for 2 weeks. And I packed for 2 weeks and I packed for India. And while I was there, the conversation was still percolating about Fiji, New Zealand, Australia, and obviously with Vid as well, who was just talking. And in my heart, I was like, oh, I'd love to do this, but I'd love it, but I can't. I just can't do it. I'm starting a new business. I've delayed my job working, and it was like, I just can't do it. But all the while internally, I was like, I just want to do this so much. And so I sort of sat with it, and I called my mum, which is quite unusual to ring her for some advice. And I said, I just don't know what to do, because starting this new business in January, I'd already delayed it by 2 weeks because of coming to India, and we'd been working on this for a year and a half. And I was very apprehensive about having her, and so she'd already sort of had the good grace to say, look, don't worry, go to India, we'll delay the launch of the business. And so I avoided calling her. Then another day came, and whilst I was in Seva in India, it was still just in my mind, I needed to know what I was doing. So I bit the bullet and I called her, and I was chatting away and trying to frame everything in a way that would be palatable. And midway through me speaking, she just interrupted me and said, do you want to hear my point of view? And I was like, yeah, of course I do. And I felt so sick. And she just said, you've just got to do it, you know. So immediately there was like this weight lifted from me, and I was like, oh God, I'm going to do it. Again, it's all the things of finances not working for several months, you know, delaying the business. There was an enormous amount of reason not to, but in my heart, instinctively, it was like a no-brainer. And so everything was essentially aligning, and it became this notion of surrender, which has kind of come up a few times in this morning's satsang. And so, yeah, I did it. I packed for 2 weeks, and although other people would say I packed for 2 months because my case is rather full and large. But it's been an incredible experience so far, such a blessing and a gift. And interestingly for me, I pops into my head about returning home, what am I going to do? But I just like, that can wait. I'm not going to worry about that. And I keep coming back to here. And so along the way, I am learning so much. I'm learning the observations of myself and releasing notions and being as present as I can. But also it comes with its ups and downs, because it's not a holiday, and it is a service, and one that is a gift. So it's amazing. But that's my little story.
It feels like holidays, but it isn't, because you're constantly on the road. And when I was younger, I always thought, Swamiji, why you're traveling alone? I also want to fly with you here and there and this and that. And so, no, stay, study. Now I realize that, and this is just my 2nd year of traveling. I started last year, so it's going to get much more and more heavier. Last summer I had 6 weeks in Strilki, and it was full on. By full on, I mean full on. I had 2 lectures a day, morning, evening, other events, consultations with people. My night used to end around midnight, 1 o'clock, and then 5 o'clock morning again starting, and just full on, constantly 6 weeks. Then I thought, okay, now I'll have a break. But no, Hungarian seminar started, I ended Strilki lunchtime, and in the evening I already started in Hungary. So then I had a week long in Hungary. Then I said, okay, now I will have a break. I will go to the seaside, go to Croatia, have a week of a break, but there was no week of break, because then Bhaktas all came there, and we had another week of seminar in Croatia. Okay, done with holidays, let's go back to India. Then back in India for a month or so, then was London, then was back to Europe, then back to India. Now Fiji, New Zealand, Australia. I landed yesterday. I thought, okay, I will have a break, because in the morning I had Auckland lecture, then I had a flight here, then I said, okay, in the evening I'll have a break, but then I had a lecture here in the evening, then I said, okay, next day I'll have a break, but then today was from the morning till evening. So I was like, awesome, that's my life. So we have New Zealand, then we have Australia, then I go back to India, then I go back to Europe, then US, Canada, then coming back to India, then back to Europe, then back to London, then back to India, then back to Fiji, New Zealand, Australia. So this just will continue and continue and continue and continue.
For another 57 years.
And more, and more.
Some people won't know where Strilki is.
Oh, Strilki is in Czech Republic. So our main center in India is in Pali, Rajasthan, which is in the shape of Om, where you all are invited. It's all your home. So anytime you come to India, most welcome to pop by and say hello. And it's a beautiful ashram which Gurudev has created in the past 10 years. The land was bought in 1992 and the construction started in 1995. Inauguration was done in 2024, but little bits in here is still going on, so it's still being constructed here and there. The interior work is still remaining. The temple has been inaugurated. So yeah, more than 20, 30 years of work has been put into it. So most welcome to visit there. And Strilki is where all our summer seminars happen. So all the disciples from all around the world, including Swami Madhuramji, he also comes every year to Strilki, or tries to be there every year, some year. But both of the years when I was there, he was there. So yeah, that's in Czech Republic. That's our second biggest ashram after Jhardan. Jhardan is in Rajasthan, which is 3 kilometers by 2 kilometers. And the Strilki one is a little bit smaller, but still huge. Still huge. Still can accommodate more than 1,000, 2,000 people. So it's big. And that's where we have our summer retreats. For Swamiji used to have it for 4 weeks. Last year, I don't know why I ended up with 6 weeks, but it was lovely. Those of you who are watching from Czech Republic, don't take it in the wrong way. It was a beautiful time. And next year also, it's again 6 weeks, so enjoy. So it's 6 weeks of full-on programs. We have morning prayer, then asanas, then pranayam, then they have breakfast, then we have morning lecture, then we have lunch, then after lunch they have, how much, 45 minutes of break?
Yes, maximum.
Maximum 45 minutes of break. Then they again have anushtans or yoga or whatever. Then after that they have dinner, then we have evening satsang and prayer and bhajan and kirtan and this all. Then they end their evening with at 9? 10, and then after that I have dinner and then I have consultations with people, so I end my night at midnight.
And then is the
Bonfire,
what's this? No,
Tilak friendly. Tilak friendly, yeah.
Till midnight.
Yeah. So yeah, that's their full-on morning to evening summer holidays. So they all, but that gives them that inner joy and that inner peace when they come to a space like Strilki or any ashram, let's say even here, and they have a routine and they have something to look forward to, because whole year people are in their own worlds working, and then they all come here, gather and enjoy that time and space. So it's a beautiful time. It recharges them. We all need recharging once in a while here and there, so I would call that as a recharge. So yeah, most of you who haven't been in that part of the world yet, most welcome to come to Strilki for summer seminars. This year it's announced for 3rd of July onwards, and will be 6 weeks in Czech Republic, 1 week in Hungary, and 1 week in Croatia. So it will be 8 weeks in Europe, whenever you wish in that time frame. And Guru Purnima is another celebration in India, which will be happening in the last week of July. So I will have 3 weeks in Strilki, then I will fly to India for 3 days, celebrate Guru Purnima, and come back to Europe for the 4th week. So that will be my upcoming schedules, but with Swamiji's health now deteriorating, so that can change at any time. Updates for those of you who are watching and those of you who are here. In Jhardan, everything is as it is, and Swamiji is okay and is gracefully blessing us internally, and his blessings and guidance is always there with us, and his love and support is always going to be there. And much love from me, and see you in the evening satsang. Hari Om. स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यां परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषा गोब्राह्मणेभ्यो शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। सद्गुरुदेव भगवान की जय।